Self-examination. See, sometimes it's so easy for us to point fingers at somebody else. See, it's easier to do one of these numbers, but I remember when I was a kid, there was something that we used to always say, and some of you may know this. When you point your finger, because that's the easy way to get out of something, you want to blame it on somebody else. But see, every time you point that finger, if you notice, there's some pointing back. I got 3 of them that's pointing back at me.
That's right.
So if I got 3 pointing back at me, that means maybe I might need to check myself before I start blaming somebody else. We already seen, and you heard me say that before, that blaming somebody else doesn't always solve the problem. Because when you go all the way back into the book of Genesis, as soon as they ate from the fruit, the very first thing when God came down, and they were hiding. And God began to ask Adam, what's going on? And the very first thing he did, he pointed. Matter of fact, he didn't point 1 finger, he actually pointed 2. Because the first thing he did, he blamed the woman. He said,
that woman you gave me.
But he blamed 2 people all in one sentence. He blamed God, first of all, for giving him the woman. He blamed 2 in one sentence. It's that woman you gave me. So he blamed God for giving him the woman. Then he blamed the woman. When God said he had placed him there, and he was the one that was in authority. So many times we'll get ourselves, and brothers, we are guilty of this at times. As soon as we get ourselves in trouble, it wasn't that wife I had. All these things wouldn't be going on in my life. When God said you are the head of the household, and you'll stand accountable for how that household is led. But you stand there and you say, well, God, I couldn't do these things because my wife she wanted those new shoes, and I just had to just let her go with those new shoes. No.
Amen.
But I couldn't pay my tithes because my wife wanted that outfit, and I just couldn't give in to her. Oh, so I'm going to be talking about some things.
Go ahead.
I'm going to be talking about some things. So, I can't do certain things because it's easier to blame other people. I didn't get promoted at work, and it wasn't, my promotion didn't come at work because they don't like me. My promotion didn't come at work because they didn't like the color of my skin. Who do you serve? They didn't promote me because I don't look like them. I don't talk like them. Or was it really they didn't promote you because you show up late half the times you're late? Or you take off as soon as you can? Or every time there's an opportunity to get educated, to expand your knowledge in the job that you're in, you're always too busy to either do that. But it's easier to say, they don't like me. Self-examination is very hard. You have to be honest about what you're doing when you start talking about self-examination. It's not easy when you have to start looking at yourself. There's a song that I love, Man in the Mirror. Used to be a ringtone I had on my phone. Talks about taking a look at yourself. Because if you look at yourself, and if you be honest, and sometimes you might even want to do this when you're by yourself. Go stand in that mirror. Begin talking. God, what is it about me? What are some of those things that you know don't line up? See, we don't always know everything. See, you know down on the inside of you,
Right.
you know those things that is not pleasing to God.
Right. That's right.
You know exactly what they are. But it's easier to come in the house of God and pretend they don't exist.
Jesus.
Instead of saying, God, you know what? And I have to do this. God, check me out.
Yes.
Because see, I know there's still things wrong with me. I'm not Jesus Christ, I'm a human.
Amen.
And I know there's things that's wrong with me.
Right.
My attitude may not always